Hello guys, this is Ved Prakash Singh from IITC. Welcome back to IITC channel. Today we are going to see a very important and rather hot topic, maintenance safety. I am very sure those people who are involved in maintenance safety, they could understand me what kind of dynamic hazards are there. So that means there are dynamic risks because each maintenance activities are different and each maintenance activity has got their own risk, own set of hazards, right? So today we are going to see the major root causes for accident during maintenance. We are going to see the safe practices to prevent accident during maintenance, and we are going to see who is responsible for accident during maintenance activity. Guys, my humble request is to please subscribe the channel if you have not done so far, so that you can receive the important information on time. I will request you to please share this link with your friends, your colleagues, your subordinates, so that they can also get trained themselves regarding maintenance safety. This is about me. You can go through the link later on when you have some time. These are the profile of IITC. These are the key competencies of our staff where we provide the services to our respected customers and clients. Guys, we are privileged to offer you to use this link to train your people, your maintenance people, operation people, safety people, engineering people, construction people, and sometimes procurement also, because they should have the glimpse of safety during maintenance. And you can use this link as a safety moment and toolbox training when you require, when you need this. So we are going to see the different things. We are not going to read line by line. These are the safe workplace and plant, SOPs and PPEs, and permit to work system, and hand tools and safe requirements. Guys, let us be serious now. Plant and equipment maintenance. I would request let us go through one by one that ensure following before we start the maintenance. Now let us one. Can the work be eliminated? This is very important first and foremost information for every maintenance. Now I need to say that can I eliminate this maintenance? That means I need to see that if some things are coming frequent maintenance, I need to upgrade the equipment, philosophy, technology so that this maintenance work can be eliminated. Now, number two, can this be substituted? This means, if there is some maintenance, I need to see that can I substitute this maintenance with other things. Right? Here, the substitute means, say for example, if I have overhead train (EOT) and the motor bearing has to be replaced. So there are two things. Either I allow my person has to go on the top, he has to see and open the motor rotor and remove the bearing there itself. It has got different hazard, different risk. Now the second thing is, can I bring the motor down and can I do the motor repairing work at the down or the ground floor? So you understand, I have substituted something with doing the maintenance on the ground instead of on the top floor. These things we have to evaluate on case to case basis so that we can bring down the risk accordingly. Now, can it be done without increasing other risk? So now question is here, we need to see that if there is some plant is in operation and plant is working, and if I am going to do some job on the top of the plant, on the overhead, so what will happen, there is some a drop object, so this will increase the load, this will create a SIMOPS. So I need to see that can I alter this thing, can I postpone this job, for weekends, can I postpone this job during the off time. So we need to see that can I do this job without increasing the risk to other people. Now next is, does it require special skill? I need to see that if I am, giving some job to our people, delegating some job to our people, I need to see that whether that maintenance needs some special skill of my person, whether he needs the hydro pressure test skill, whether he needs hydro jet training, whether he needs NDT training. So I need to identify in advance to carry out that job. Do or does my people or does my team need additional risk awareness program, additional special skill? Should it be done by specialist contract? There are some people, I tell you, I always love to give the example of heat exchanger cleaning. Those people who are in refinery, especially in Middle East, they can understand me. In heat exchanger, it shocks like anything. It is very hard, like a rock. So we need to clean this with the help of hydrojetting. So hydrojetting is very at high pressure, at 1600 bar G, 2000 bar G, 3000 bar G. So that special pressure will, is very high risk. It can kill your hand, it can kill your neck, and I have seen some people dying due to the high pressure jet. So, in this case, see, our people may not be trained in this kind of hydrojetting activity. So, we need to find out some contractors, some specialized contractor who are knowledgeable, who are doing the job on daily basis. So, we can offload this job on a specialized contractor. This does not mean we are eliminating the hazard. This means we are upgrading the knowledge of the people and they are experienced. If the people are experienced, they are not complacent. So, probably they will do the job safer. It never means if you are going to offload the job to a contractor, this is safe. No, it is not safe. But it is done with a conscious hands. Never allow incompetent person to attend the job. You understand what I'm saying? If I am giving, a job to a person who have never been trained to replace the motor bearing on the top of the EOT, he will definitely create an accident. Plan the work in such a way that risk can be minimized. That is why I'm saying that sometimes, say for example, in the day hours, there is a number of people working together. In night hour, there are less number of people working together. During weekend, probably there is no people. So depending on your requirement, depending your process, depending on your workload, depending on your running hours, so you can plan. The maintenance, if it is not very urgent, in such a way that risk can be minimized to people of the maintenance and to other people. Carry out a risk assessment for the maintenance activity always. Always carry out risk assessment, job safety analysis for any maintenance activity to evaluate the hazard, to minimize the risk by taking the control measures. Always initiate permit to work. There are some additional slide on permit to work. We will discuss this slide in very detail in the following slides. Now guys, safe working areas. Provide safe access to work. What does it mean? That means, say for example, I will again give an example of EOT, electrical operated train, gearbox repairing. That means person has to go on the top. So is there any facility that person can go on the top of the platform safely? We must ensure that safe access must be there. Ensure that workplace is free from the hazard. We need to ensure that on the downstairs, the things has to be barricaded so that if something falls down, there is no hit to on the head. We have to ensure that workplace is free from hazard, free from people, so that if hazard realizes, there is no accident. Good housekeeping is one of the vital element to minimize the sleep and trip, fire, and other things. Good illumination, poor illumination level, poor ventilation level gives the poor judgment to the people, and frustrated people cannot do right job. So we need to ensure that right illumination level, right lux level, and good ventilation in the maintenance area. Ensure that emergency escape is free from obstacle. See, your maintenance team is working. They are working, but they do not know what can go wrong. If something goes wrong, he has to evacuate the place uh, immediately. So in that case, all the escape route, all the emergency exit should be free from obstacle. Ensure enough warning signs and barrier in place. See, this is called as safety communication. This is called as hazard communication. Seeing is believing. If you put good, effective signboards, barriers, then people will see it, people will believe it, people will treat it. Guys, as we mentioned that maintenance is a non-routine job, and in non-routine jobs, sometimes we prepare a SOP. SOP means Standard Operating Procedure or Safe Operating Procedure. We must use manufacturer maintenance guideline to maintain the OEM equipments. We need to do a job safety analysis for all routine, non-routine jobs so that we can identify all the hazards, we can identify all the safeguards. If the hazards and risk is very high, then we need to identify the additional safeguard to bring the risk to alarm level. Ensure maintenance team is trained and very briefed about the job. This is like a toolbox training. Anybody who are going to attend the job, they must be trained. They must be aware of the hazard. They must be aware of the existing safeguards. They must be aware about the control measures so that they can take appropriate, suitable action during the maintenance. It has to undergo for briefing, yeah, or toolbox training. PPE. See, PPE, if you see hierarchy of control, ERICPD, elimination, reduction, isolation, control, PPE, and discipline. So, PPE is the last defense, last layer of protection. So, we must provide PPE appropriately depending on the work, depending on the hazard, depending on the person. Ensure that workers are given the required and appropriate PPE. Ensure that workers are trained on how to use PPE. I always give an example. If you don't know how to use the mask, probably you are putting yourself in danger. You need to put your mask safely. You need to know how to use the escape set. You need to use how to use the BA set. So people must have been trained on how to use the PPE. Otherwise, he or she or you are putting them in danger situation. Ensure use of PPE at workplace as per requirement. See, every PPE should not be used always. There are some mandatory PPEs and there are some work specific PPEs. So PPEs are to be used as per the work specific requirement. Like sometimes you use earplug, sometimes you use ear muff, sometimes you use chemical canister gas mask, sometimes you use BS8. So these depends on workplace to workplace, on hazard to hazard, situation to situation. Ensure PPEs are maintained in good condition. I always love to give an example of respirator. In the respirator inside, if there is a lot of dust, what will happen? If you are going to use it, ultimately there is a vacuum. When you are inhaling it, all the dust which is inside the mask will go inside your lungs and it will block your lungs. So ultimately you are planning to make yourself, but yourself safe, but you are making yourself very, very unsafe. So you must maintain the PPE in good condition. Ensure PPE is always complied as per the company requirement. Now guys, we are going to see the permit to work system. It is as you know that it is a formal, verbal or written documents. Permit to work is always used before maintenance work is starting. Now let us understand quickly what is a permit to work. I am very sure all of you know, but let us refresh it. Permit to work is a formal, verbal or written document. Purpose of permit to work is to do the job safely. It always ensure that work is done safely so that there is no effect. If you see the definition of PPE, a permit to work system is to control non-routine special work activities so that present a health and safety risk or danger to the environment. Guys, now we are going to see permit to work system which is used before starting any maintenance. We have got a separate dedicated program on permit to work system. I would request you to please go through this I think 15 minutes program Complete clarification information on permit to work. Permit to work is basically a formal verbal and written documents. I would always encourage that don't go on verbal. Always believe in written examination. This does not mean I am blaming you or your team. This does not mean do not have the trust, but definitely written documents are very important because there are some sort of checklist. There are many points which may skip if you are going to follow your memory. The purpose of this permit to work system is to provide protection during maintenance and inspection, and it is always to ensure the management systems are implemented to ensure that job is done safely. If you see the formal definition of permit to work, it is the system to control non-routine or special work activities so that could not present a health, safety and environment related issues. So permit to work system is basic a first document to start the maintenance activity. Without approved permit to work system, we should not start the maintenance activity. Permit is used for non-routine job activity, but sometimes in some company for routine activities, for routine jobs, we also use permit to work. But 99.99% for routine jobs, there is a SOP, safe operating procedure or standard operating procedures are available. Important thing, we need to see that permit to work is a vital document for incident investigation if any unfortunately. Normally when incident happens, we ask for the permit to work, then we go through line by line and we see that what has gone wrong, what we have ignored. So it can be a legal document, my friend, it can be legal document. So that means read it carefully, read its hazard carefully, read its control measures carefully before signing because it is a legal document. There are few examples of non-routine activities. I will go through line by line and few I will explain. Welding, cutting or grinding in presence of flammable material. When you are going to do welding, cutting and grinding in presence of flammable material, we must, it is a non-routine activity, we must evaluate the risk, we must do the SIMOPS, then only you start the work after taking the permit. Any activities which are dealing the explosives, these are also non-routine activity. This has to be under control under permit to work. High pressure jetting. This is a very critical activity. I have seen people dying in the high pressure jetting because the pressure is 1600 bar G, 2000 bar G, and it can cut your neck, it can cut your limbs, it can cut your head, it can cut your anything. Be careful. Grid blasting is also one of the non-routine jobs we must control under the permit work system. Pressure testing, whether hydro test or pneumatic test, it has to be controlled under the permit to work. Breaking into pipelines, hoses containing the residual pressure oblique hazardous chemical. If you are having the pipeline or material or pipeline which is having a high pressure or hazardous chemical, this must be taken as a non-routine job. This must be controlled under permit to work before removing the flange. Electrical isolation, energy isolation to allow the maintenance activity or repair must be controlled under permit to work. Working above 1.5 meter or above without the edge supported, without the barricade, without the hard barricade, without the handrail must be controlled under work permit system or permit to work. Removing protection, safeguards, inherent safety, lifeline or controls or sensors, it must be controlled under removing the protection. Confined space entry must be controlled under permit to work. Work involving ionization, radiation, X-ray, this must be treated as a permit to work control system, and I have prepared one program for different subject. This is called as radiation safety. I would request you to please, if you are involved, if you are directly or indirectly related to the X-ray, then please go through this material. It will save you, it will protect you. This is a 10 minutes program. Guys, there are three kind of permits: hot work, open flame, hot work, spark potential, and cold work. Normally there are many more like work at height, confined space entry, energy isolation. So as a good practice, you can keep this as a separate certificates, and these are the major three work permit. But there is no loss, no problem. These are the supplementary certificates: confined space entry, high voltage switching certificate, excavation and or penetration certificate, vehicle entry certificate, work at height certificate, override of controls and protection certificate, isolation certificates, process isolation, mechanical isolation, electrical isolation, and instrument isolation. So these certificates are to be used as an addendum of the hot work or cold work. There is no harm. If you have this as a permit, no harm. Only thing, you review the permit with all the checklist. All the points should be there so that you don't miss anything by mistake. There are three steps for a permit to work. One is initiator or request. Who is going to do the job? He will initiate the permit. The permit has to be reviewed, and after permit is reviewed, then it has to be authorized by authorized person. Permit to work to ensure that two operations, I mean, there are some activities where two activities cannot be done together, because when you are going to do two activities with different nature, probably this will bring additional hazard, and that is risk. Say for example, there is a pressure vessel or there is a tank, and you are purging this tank. This tank has got a flammable mixture, toxic mixture. What will happen? And there is a, you are allowing some hot work there nearby. So what will happen? This case, you are providing the flammable mixture, oxygen is already present in the atmosphere, and you are providing the ignition. You are completing the fire triangle. So this should be avoided. So this has to be reviewed under SIMOPS. What is SIMOPS? SIM means simultaneous. SIM has come from simultaneous, OPS has come from operation. This is SIMOPS or MOPO. SIMOPS activity or MOPO activity has to be done separately. There is a workshop for SIMOPS. I have created a separate program for SIMOPS or MOPO. What is MOPO? MOPO. Matrix of permitted operation. In this matrix, what operations are permitted together, what is not permitted together, this we have to know before starting any job. Guys, let us see safe plant. For the maintenance, plant and equipment must be made safe before maintenance activity. Say for example, if you are planning to go inside the boiler bay to inspection, so the boiler has to be shut down. After that, the temperature has to be brought down. You have to remove all the, flow gases. You have to remove all the unburnt carbons, and then you have to do a confined space entry permit. You have to make the continuous airflow so that there is no hazard. Then only you can go inside the boiler bed. Ensure following safe practices during maintenance. Isolate electrical and other power as per the certificate. Log out, take out must be done as per the electrical permit system. Isolate the plant and pipeline containing the pressurized gas, steam, hazardous chemical. Suitable work permit should be obtained before starting the job. Plant and workplace must be freed from the maintenance. Confined space entry procedure has to be followed for vessel entry or any confined space entry. Workers are trained and briefed about the hazard. These are very simple and short points what we need to know before starting any maintenance activity. These are about the hand tools. Normally, if you are using wrong hand tool for wrong job, you will end up with an accident. Ensure the availability of proper hand tools. Always use appropriate hand tool for the appropriate job. Maintain the hand tools in good condition. Do not horseplay with your hand tools. Always use the tools as per the procedure. Do not take shortcuts while using the hand tools. Always use anti-spark tools where there is possibility of flammable and gas mixture. Keep the tools at the right place after the maintenance. These are the basic things what we need to follow during the maintenance, because right hand tool and the right place with the right job will not create any accident. And guys, I am very sure now you know that major root causes for accident during maintenance. Close your eyes and try to understand what we have learned in past and try to answer. If you are not able to find answer, I would request you to please revisit and I'm very sure you will find the answer of major root causes for accident during maintenance. Safe practices to prevent accident during maintenance is there. We have seen it. Who is responsible for maintenance activity? We are responsible. Who are responsible for accident in the maintenance? We are responsible. We are maintenance manager, we are safety manager, we are safety supervisor, we are maintenance supervisor. We are responsible for any accident for maintenance. That is why we should not take any shortcut. We should plan our maintenance very well so that there is no issues regarding maintenance. Guys, sorry, I was rushing because I wanted to make everything in a short time. I'm very sure you might have liked this, content. And if you have any suggestion, you have any recommendation, you have any comments, so please feel free to put your comments in the comment section so that we can come back to you with appropriate answer. My last request is please subscribe the button, subscribe the channel if you have not done so far. And please send the link of this video to your friends so that they can also benefit it. Guys, we have got many training programs in our website. I will request you to please take a tour and go through that if you need. With this, I would like to thank you very much for your patience, for your time. With this, I thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.